The void between stars held secrets older than most civilizations could fathom. Archivist Kane Dorr had spent 3 decades cataloging dead signals from extinct species, but nothing had prepared him for what his sensors detected in the Orpheus Nebula. The readings defied logic. 17 massive structures, perfectly preserved in cryostasis fields that predated the Galactic Council itself. "Impossible," Kane whispered, his chitinous fingers trembling over the holographic display. The energy signatures were ancient beyond measure, yet somehow still active. He ran the analysis 3 times before accepting the truth. These vessels were over 1 million years old. Within hours, the Council's military forces cordoned off the sector. The galaxy was at war. The brutal Krev Dominion had been consuming systems for decades, and any ancient technology could tip the balance. As scientists worked frantically to understand the derelict fleet, Kane noticed something that made his blood run cold. The ships weren't abandoned. They were sleeping. Deep within the flagship's command center, Admiral Rhea Solari opened her eyes for the first time in a millennium. The neural interface fed her information in microseconds, her crew of 40,000 souls stirring from their long sleep, ship systems coming online with flawless precision, and most disturbing of all, an alien vessel attached to her hull like a parasite. "Status report," she commanded, her voice steady despite the temporal vertigo threatening to overwhelm her. "Admiral, chronometer indicates mission time elapsed. 1,043,712 years, her AI companion responded. "Original mission parameters no longer apply. Unknown entities have breached outer hull sections." Rhea's jaw tightened. Humanity's last desperate gambit. 17 colony ships fleeing a dying Earth, meant to sleep for just 500 years until reaching a distant sanctuary. Something had gone catastrophically wrong. But Solari hadn't commanded the United Earth Navy's finest without learning to adapt. "Wake the fleet. Battle protocols. We assess, then we act." Kane felt the shift before his instruments registered it. The ancient ships were powering up, their reactors blazing to life with technology that made Council vessels look like primitive toys. He sent an urgent transmission to Fleet Command, but it was already too late. Admiral Solari studied the tactical display with growing concern. The galaxy she'd left behind was gone, replaced by species she'd never encountered. More troubling were the sensor readings showing a massive invasion force approaching. The Krev Dominion, her AI explained, having cracked Council defense networks. 30,000 warships converging on this sector, drawn by the energy spike of her fleet's awakening. The Council's representative, Kane Dorr, appeared on her view screen, an insectoid being whose translator barely kept pace with his panicked speech. "Please, you must power down. The Krev will detect you. They'll destroy everything within 100 light years." Rhea considered the archivist's terror, then glanced at her tactical officer. Commander Wei nodded grimly. The fleet's sensors had already mapped every Krev vessel, analyzed their weapons, identified their weaknesses. Old habits died hard. "Archivist Dorr, I appreciate your concern," Rhea said calmly. "But humanity didn't survive the Exodus Wars by running from bullies." "How long until the Krev arrive?" 6 hours. You don't understand. Their weapons can crack planets. The Council has been losing this war for 20 years. Rhea smiled, and something in that expression made Kane's survival instincts scream warnings. 6 hours? That's generous. Commander Wei, standard defensive formation. Let's remind the galaxy what humans do best. The transformation was terrifying to witness. The 17 ancient ships moved with fluid grace impossible for their size, taking positions that turned mathematical theory into spatial reality. Council observers watched in awe as the human fleet created overlapping fields of fire that left no angle unexploited, no weakness undefended. When the Krev Dominion arrived, they came with the confidence of conquerors. 30,000 ships against 17 derelicts, it should have been a slaughter. Their warlord's broadcast was brief and brutal. "Surrender the ancient technology or be atomized." Admiral Solari's response was equally concise. "No." The battle lasted 4 minutes and 37 seconds. Humanity's million-year-old weapons proved that some technologies don't obsolesce. They simply wait for worthy opponents. Railguns accelerating projectiles to relativistic speeds, missile swarms with AI targeting that predicted movements before enemy pilots thought them, and most devastating of all, the quantum disruptors that simply erased Krev ships from existence, their atoms scattered across dimensional boundaries. The Dominion's fleet evaporated like morning frost under a harsh sun. Those few ships that survived fled in absolute terror, carrying tales of ancient demons that broke the laws of physics itself. In the aftermath, as Council forces stared in shocked silence at the debris field, Kane-Dor received a private transmission from Admiral Solari. The human woman looked tired, ancient despite her restored youth, carrying the weight of a species that had gambled everything on one desperate journey. Archivist, we need to understand what happened to our home. To Earth, can you help us? Kane felt something shift in that moment, the beginning of understanding between species separated by vast ages. Admiral Solari, humanity has been gone so long that you've become myth, but I can show you what remains, what your species became before they vanished into legend. Rhea nodded slowly. Then we have much to discuss. It seems we've awakened to a galaxy that forgot how to fight for itself. She glanced at her tactical display, where Council distress signals from a dozen systems painted a portrait of desperate civilizations losing hope. Perhaps it's time someone reminded them. Kane watched the ancient human fleet form up, their weapons still hot from battle, and realized that the balance of power in the galaxy had just shifted dramatically. The Krev Dominion had awakened something they couldn't comprehend, humanity's legacy, forged in the fires of survival, tempered by the void between stars, and utterly unbroken by the passage of time. The war was about to change, and this time, the galaxy's defenders had teeth.